This podcast was produced by OAR FM Dunedin with support from New Zealand On Air.
Welcome to 7 Wonders in 70 Minutes, a podcast series based on the book Wanderlust, written by Julie Woods, that's me, illustrated by Ron Esplin, that's you.
Oh, it is. Yeah, thank you for that, Julie.
In these 7 10-minute episodes, we are going to visit the 7 wonders of the world through the paintbrush of Ron Esplin and the sensory diaries of that blind woman, Julie Woods. This is episode 1, and Wonder 1 is Petra in Jordan. Merhaba, Ron.
Merhaba.
Would you like...
Merhaba, Habibi.
Oh, hello, friend, I think that is. Friend, would you like to describe to the listeners the painting that you have done of Petra, which is actually the illustration that is on the front cover of the book Wanderlust?
Well, Petra, of course, is an enormous area, but the wonder of the world is the Treasury building in Petra, which is the first thing that you see when you go through the Sikh, which was the surprise that the initial people who refound Petra found out when they went through the Sikh, and there was the Treasury building. They call it the Pink City, and it is really the Treasury building stands out. You just see this pink, and the city itself is carved out of the rock. Then Petra, in fact, is the Arabic name for rock. So they're rock stars.
So what's the painting like?
The painting is of that Treasury building. They don't let you in anymore, but there's nothing really to see inside because the facade is what is the remarkable building. And I've painted a couple of camels sitting outside, one sitting, one standing, looking as if they're very patient, which they aren't. And when we went there was a Bedouin guide who was standing outside guarding the Treasury building to make sure people didn't go in. And I think you went up and spoke to him, didn't you, Julie?
I had my photo taken with him. I think he was very handsome, somebody said.
Yes, are you sure they weren't looking at me? Thank you.
Thank you. Every day I am away, I keep a diary of one thing I smell, hear, taste and touch. My sensory diary for the day we visited Petra in Jordan on Sunday the 18th of January 2009. Smell, the apple I gave the horse after it carried us through that gap in the rock called the Sikh. Hear, the sound of our guide Jessup saying there are not enough camels in the world for this woman. Taste, magnificent fried fish. Touch, an elderly Bedouin woman placing a necklace over my head. And I guess our day, Ron, began at the entrance to Petra, and our guide Jessup, who was a very proud Bedouin man, and we met him and we're walking down towards Petra, and you decided to have a bit of a joke with him because when we were in Egypt you got offered 5,000 camels for me, and you decided that you might be able to up the ante. But of course the Bedouin people are very proud, and when Ron told Jessup this story, he turned to Ron and said, there are not enough camels in the world for this woman.
And how very true. Which explains why we didn't come home with a lot of camels.
You thought they wouldn't fit in our front yard. That's the real story, isn't it?
It is really, yes. You're quite right. It wasn't very practical. Jessup was typical of the Bedouins, proud. And he took us to meet his father. And it's really remarkable to meet people. This Petra was established, I understand, in 300 BC. So it's been around for a long time, but it was lost for a very long time because there was an earthquake that created chaos in the town, and it dislocated the water supply, and that meant that they could no longer stay there. Water was no longer available, And it's often the case that a city will go into disuse and disrepair because of that.
Yeah, water is a good reason for a city to no longer function. One of my memories was us sitting down having a cup of kakadei tea, which you do quite a lot in Egypt and Jordan, and a crowd of young children gathered around as Ron did a disappearing coin trick. And it was a lovely moment because it made me realise that magic is an international language. We didn't have to say anything. They just watched you in amazement and were entertained by your little trick. It was lovely.
Well, that's nice to think that it did. They were having a great time. And it's lovely to hear laughter echoing off the walls of Petra.
That elderly woman who placed the necklace over my head was indeed Jessup's mother. As you said, they both, have a long history of being there, and Jessup had come back. Another person we met there in one of my other sound entries, which I didn't note, but was a g'day from a man called Rami, who was Australian. His mother was Dutch, and she had gone to Petra and married a Bedouin, and indeed written a book called I Married a Bedouin, and we bought a copy of the book.
In fact, he was New Zealand, and he went to Nelson Boys High School.
Oh, yeah, got that right.
The book was written by his mother. She came for a short holiday that ended up in a life marriage to one of the Bedouins.
That's what love will do for you. We got taken back through the Sikh. Most people walk, but because I'm blind, they don't think I can walk. So we actually got to go on the horse and cart, and the horse carried us through. It's Indiana Jones-ish, isn't it, Ron?
Oh, yes.
The Sikh, we're in this horse and cart with a driver, and that's very unstable. And, it was like a kind of one of those adventures. I think, is it the Last Crusade that was filmed at the Treasury in Petra?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's why I gave the apple to the horse at the end of our trip through there, because it was such an amazing feat for the horse to carry us both.
And forever grateful, mutually grateful to the horse and to Jessup.
Absolutely, yeah. The Bedouin people that share their home with us. We came home and discovered that indeed Petra was one of the 7 wonders of the world. That sent you away researching the other 6 and came back and said, do you want to visit the 7 wonders of the world? To which I said, why not? And that was an adventure that took us from our first wonder in Petra to visit the next 6, which we are going to cover in these future podcasts. What are the 7 wonders of the world? That was a question, of course, that Ron had to have answered. And in 2007, they did an online survey with 1 million people and asked them what were the 7 wonders of the world. And from the results of that survey, they came back and formulated a list, and they officially called the 7 new wonders of the world. But they are the ones that we have based our trip on, and I know that they can be controversial. The pyramids of Giza are not indeed in that list, but we visited them before anyway. Are you still there, Ron?
I'm still here. Indeed. And it started an adventure, a huge adventure really, going to all those. It's a mission. And, of course, what goes along with that mission, 7 places, but 7,000 interactions with people and the joy of meeting the world.
Exactly. It's not just the wonder itself, it's the journey getting there. Shukran, Ron.
Shukran.
And thank you, everybody, for listening to 7 Wonders in 70 Minutes with Ron Esplin and Julie Woods. To contact Ron, you can email him ronesplinartist@gmail.com, or to contact me, Julie Woods, julie@thatblindwoman.co.nz. This is episode 1 of 7. We look forward to you joining us for episode 2. Shukran. I'm That Blind Woman, Julie Woods, proud sponsor of 7 Wonders in 70 Minutes. The World in 360 Minutes is a sound project containing 36 10-minute episodes taking you across the globe. We started with the first series, Around the World in 80 Minutes, and then 7 Wonders in 70 Minutes. In these podcasts, we explore what we see when we travel, me through my 4 senses and Ron through his paintbrush. You can check me out, That Blind Woman Julie Woods, at thatblindwoman.co.nz or ring me on 021 913 513. Why not?
This podcast was produced by OAR FM Dunedin with support from New Zealand On the Air.